The next generation of sprinting talent has already made an attempt to dominate the sport in the first 2 months of 2026. Garrett Kalin broke the 20-second barrier in the 200 meters inside, Jordan Anthony called out Noah Lyles and company, and 16-year-old Dylan Mitchell, a high school sophomore, broke the world juvenile record in the 60 meters at 6.59. The younger generation is beginning to speak up and become more visible on the international scene. Speaking about younger talent, Gout Gout, an 18-year-old prodigy, fits the same description. Gout has already demonstrated in 2026 that his skill set is beginning to grow once more. He hit the 100 in a 10 flat to start the season. Unquestionably, his start has improved, and his 60-meter split speeds are only becoming quicker. He even managed a split of 6.57 for his season debut, and he continues to have a top-notch closing pace. For someone his age, Gout's racing skills are just astounding. Even though he is only 18, he has already demonstrated that he can compete with the world's top athletes. Don't believe me, either. After detailed examination, we discovered that his time of 19.8484 at the Australian Championships last year, when he was only 17, was the quickest 50-meter close under any circumstances for the 200, clocking in at between 4.60 to 4.61 seconds. That is a whole tenth quicker than the close time of Noah Lyles's well-known 19.31. It was quicker than Michael Johnson's 1932 Olympic time in 1996. It was even quicker than Johan Blake's time in the 1926 Brussels Diamond League, when he closed like a freight train in 2011. Gout did have a little unlawful tailwind here, but at 17, it really shouldn't be possible to run this fast. The plain fact is that an age group world record or even an Australian national record is nearly always going to collapse when Gout gets his racing right. But when it came time to compete in the Queensland Athletics Championships this year, something didn't seem quite right. Gout's time in the 100 qualifying was 10:28. Yes, it was a slower time than usual, but this was just the qualifying round. As a result, everyone anticipated that Gout may challenge the 10-second barrier in the final. He only ran a time of 10:20. Compared to his most recent 10 flat on February 21st, this time was significantly slower. However, Gout revealed that he was genuinely ill shortly after the event. Gout actually had more than just a slight cough or congestion. In actuality, he had the flu. I genuinely believe Gout was going to break 10 here, so this explained the sluggish performance in the 100. What if I told you, however, that Gout returned to the 200 meters shortly after these two 100s, where he accomplished something far more remarkable than most people realize? Gout returned to the 200 meters, which is, by all accounts, his main event, just one day after racing in the 100 meters. Furthermore, the final time of 20.42 was still far slower than many anticipated. The wind is a crucial fact concerning this 200 that many people are overlooking, though. You know, Gout was actually facing a fairly powerful headwind during this 200 final. The wind was actually blowing at a speed of -2.1 meters per second. Athletes are known to be significantly slowed down by this type of wind. But how would his performance change if the wind was taken into account? At 20.4242 seconds, that is. We get a wind-neutral estimate of 20.19 if we apply this large headwind and change it to no wind at all. And that translates to a 20.05 if the wind was at the maximum permitted speed of +2.0 meters per second. Since it is impossible to declare with absolute confidence that any athlete will be impacted by the wind in this same way, it is crucial to accept these modifications with a grain of salt. However, according to prediction algorithms and this 2018 analysis, Gout's 200 time of 20.42 corresponds to a 20.19 in neutral wind and a 20.05 with a maximum permitted wind of 2.0. If we take a brief look at the possibility that Gout is genuinely ill with the flu, we can see that he was sleeping through his heats due to his illness, and there were also reports that he was having trouble getting out of bed. That Gout participated in the 100 heats in this manner is quite amazing. He completed a 200-meter clocking of 20 after running a 200-meter heat. 42, Gout's performances received a lot of unfavorable criticism for a few days following this tournament. They claimed he didn't perform up to par. They said that he was regressing. This is the actual reality of these times, though. In fact, he's still moving faster than he did the previous year, when he went on to make history and accomplish a number of things. You see, Gout competed in both the 100 and 200 meters for the 2025 Queensland Athletics Championships, which were held in mid-March at nearly the same time. Now, he ran a 10 for his 100 times in 2025. He raced a 10.38 in the final after running a 39 in qualifying. And we can see that his 2026 races were actually much faster when we apply some simple wind conversions to these races that were completed with negative winds. Additionally, the 200m tells a very similar tale. He really ran a time of 19.98 for the 200 final in 2025, which was the first time Gout had ever surpassed 20. The wind, however, was quite powerful. It was blowing at a speed of 3.6 meters per second. Applying this performance to a neutral wind results in a projected clocking of 20.17 seconds, which is remarkably close to the anticipated timing of 20.19 seconds in 2026. The fact that these timeframes coincide so closely is proof that Gout Gout is still operating at an incredible pace. However, the fact that Gout ran these times while suffering from the sick makes it even more astounding. In response to a question about why he chose to run while ill, Gout said that it strengthens resilience to know that you can accomplish this in a state championship. And I can support it and carry on if, regrettably, I became ill during an Olympics or something similar. Gout really grabbed his nose and raised one finger for the camera after winning this 200. And this was to show that he managed to win the entire competition despite the flu and severe traffic. I was looking forward to a potential sub-10 in the 100 meters and something much closer to 20 seconds in the 200 meters, just like a lot of other competitors. But it all makes sense when you're battling with influenza. I have no doubt that we will witness something exceptional the next time Gout fights without being ill. And I sincerely hope that the wind would just cooperate. This man has broken 10 seconds multiple times in the 100 and 20 seconds multiple times in the 200. However, there was always an unlawful tailwind. Therefore, I really believe it's time for Gout Gout to go sub-10 and sub-20 if he can just race while healthy and receive a relatively advantageous victory, but legal wind. I would now want to hear about these runs from each and every one of you. How do you feel about the flu and Gout racing together? How do you feel about his overall performances? What are your predictions regarding his timings in 2026? I appreciate everyone watching. Until the next occasion.